And that's just what happened.
So that's what happened. So we go in, Nick was in charge of talking to the doctor and the nurses about what the plan was, and it was, you know, not to have an exam, a cervical exam, not to have an IV. So.
And that was interesting because, you know, the hospital that we had chose actually had a midwife program. However, that midwife was rather busy and was actually in the middle of another delivery. And so we had the traditional doctor who did not like or appreciate our plan. And came in, and luckily ahead of time, Alicia in some of our sessions had role played with me of like, okay, if somebody, you know, if a doctor doesn't like your plan, how are you going to handle it? What are you going to do? And we actually played it out. So luckily we did that because this doctor was very adamant that we were very wrong. And so it turned into a very interesting conversation because the doctor said, no, we're not going to follow your plan. We're going to do it the way I want to do it. You know, luckily I was prepared. I said, no, we're not. This is, you know, our health. This is what we're going to do. And so the doctor said, no, you're wrong. Why are you here at our hospital then if you're not going to follow our plan? And that kind of set me back. I'm like, oh, this doctor is very serious. I have to, you know, really stick to this plan if I believe it. And so as, you know, Alicia and I practiced and talked about, you know, we didn't want to add more stress to the room. And so I asked the doctor to step outside of the hallway to have that conversation with me. And that turned into a very intense conversation, one that I actually was not expecting from the doctor. And the doctor again just reiterated, why are you at our hospital if you're not going to follow our practices? And so I tried to kind of diffuse the situation and say, hey, you know, we believe that birth is a natural process. And until it becomes a medical process, we want it to be a natural process. And again, the doctor, you know, said, hey, I have a fancy degree from a prestigious university in medicine. You don't. I've done 1,000 of these. You haven't. This is our plan. You're going to follow it. And so it was very intense. I was not expecting kind of that. And so it kind of became clear that this wasn't going to work with the doctor. And so I just asked the doctor, I said, okay, you know, if it becomes medically necessary for you to come back into the room, that'll be great. But at this time, you know, we'd like you to stay out. And so that was a pretty hard decision. So essentially, I kind of fired the doctor, which I wasn't expecting, especially since the midwife was busy. And so I stepped back into the room and I told Alicia that, and I was a little shaken because it's like, okay, I just fired our doctor. That's weird. And you know, Alicia was very, you know, affirming and said, hey, no big deal. You know, the nurse will be able to deliver. The midwife will come in time. Don't worry, it was the right decision. So that really kind of allowed me to kind of recenter and, you know, be at peace with that. Unfortunately, the midwife stepped in a couple minutes later and that doctor did not come back, which was great.